Hello, everyone, and welcome to Matt Talks Geek and Makes Bad Ort. So this episode is probably going to be pretty short. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about on the topic. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. I'm a little late on this train, but I was going through Hulu today, and I come across Skinwalker Ranch, which I've heard of. And I haven't really heard much about it, so I wasn't really sure exactly what it was about other than the Skinwalker Ranch. And I'm a little surprised at myself because I love cryptids and aliens and ghosts and all that paranormal stuff. And so I'm a little amazed at myself that I wasn't already aware of this place. Um, so as I read the synopsis, I'm excited. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna really enjoy it. Um, we're gonna get into my bad ort while I go into what I thought of the show. Mind you, I binged all 8 episodes that Hulu had, which apparently is the first season. I think there is a second season out, but Hulu doesn't have it yet. I'm gonna watch the second season. Well, we'll get into my opinion. All right, let me switch windows here and get into this. So, as I stated, I absolutely adore things like anything to do with cryptids and stuff like that, and it's just kind of one of my favorite subjects. Even since I was like real young, boogeyman and ghost. I was always into that kind of stuff. Um, even the simple childhood things like Bloody Mary, all that sort of lovely stuff. So I'm of course interested in this particular show because it's got all that lovely stuff that, or at least I think it's going to. And then I get into the actual show, and I got to be honest with you. Rather than a buttload of really cool stuff, because I'm thinking it's gonna be one of those shows where you get to see a bunch of footage. Maybe they actually caught a cryptid on camera. Maybe they have actual proof. Undeniable proof that has just been shut up by the government or whatever. I'm really really getting into this, and then I get into the show, and the first thing they do is, of course, they go over what the Skinwalker Ranch is, and again, I'm not even sure where I'm going with this bad art. I'm really not. I'm just kind of winging this one. I usually walk into this with a plan, and I'm just really winging this one. So the big thing is there's not a lot of, hey guy, we have this footage and this is irrefutable. It's really, well, there's a lot of stuff going on that's been going on. They go into the history of the ranch, which I think is actually pretty interesting. It's apparently gone through a couple different owners. It was apparently cursed by the Native Americans. Um, Honestly, I kind of zoned out so much that I can't even remember what tribe they said it was. But since then, it is the land where the Skinwalkers uh, walk. And so it's called, obviously, the Skinwalker Ranch. Now, mostly all that happens is a bunch of guys walk out into parts of this ranch, and then their equipment goes dead. Most of their electronic equipment, cameras go dead. Drones suddenly don't connect to their controls anymore. But you know what never seems to go dead is the diagnostic equipment that can, the Geiger counters and stuff like that. Which brings me to another huge point. Every time something really crazy happens, their Geiger counters are just off the charts. I'm getting this kind of reading, I'm getting this kind of reading, and I'm just thinking to myself, maybe there is something strange going on there. Maybe that one guy did really see a pair of glowing eyes. I'm not going to sit here and say you didn't see a pillar of light off in the distance. But let's start figuring this up here. So at some point, but before they even really get into it, they bring in this skeptic. I say skeptic. He's really just a scientist. He came in with a completely scientific mind, and I love that about the show. The guy didn't come in saying, "Oh, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake," and I'm going to prove it's fake. Oh no, it's not fake. He actually just came in very neutral about it. And so from the start, I would say it actually, wasn't bad. Um, but he wants to start digging. And I mean, scientific discovery, sure, let's start digging. Let's see what our soil samples can come up with. Because obviously something's happening out there. His first day out there, and they're getting all kinds of weird readings. So he wants to dig and see what's going on. And of course, the whole group that actually is on the ranch is like, no, no, we don't dig. We don't dig. Every time we dig, bad things happen. And of course, that is just like, well, that just makes them want to dig more. And they go into the story of this guy who lives on the land. Tommy. I can't remember his name exactly, but apparently this guy was told when he first got there, no digging. And of course, being people, he was just like, heck yeah, I'm going to dig anyway, my land, I live here. Well, it's not really his land, but you get the idea. So, next thing he knows, he's got this weird headache. And then he's got this weird growth on his head, on the back of his head, that he ends up having to go to the hospital for. And like it literally starts like separating his scalp from his skull. That's how bad it was. It ended up having to be drained. And so after that, of course he didn't dig again after that. But this guy is like, well, okay, so we've got to study. You brought me in here to study the place, so let's study it. So they got to find non-invasive ways to study it. They're doing infrared. They want to get cameras to where they can, like, see what's underground, all kinds of stuff. And at every step, something happens with the at every step seems like something happens with the equipment, so that they actually can't get a good reading. And then, as soon as that bad stuff happens with the equipment, it's always, well, let's take a look at take a look at our Geiger counters or whatever, and it's like, oh my God, look at all that. Look at these electromagnetic waves. Look at these radiation waves. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, radiation waves, had to go to the hospital because this guy's head was swelling up. And then eventually they end up going to these caves, and the scientist they brought in, he starts getting all woozy-headed, and then at some point they're literally just opening up I guess it was like a sewer. They were thinking maybe it was going to be an entrance into a cave or something. I don't know, but it was blocked off with concrete. They opened it up, and next thing you know, the scientist guy gets all headache, and he's just like, what? I don't understand. Oh, let me check my equipment. And his body is reading like massive amounts of radiation, like bad. Like, get the heck out of there, go to a hospital for radiation. And so, yeah, he ended up suffering radiation burns. Now, don't get me wrong. They saw some things out there. They recorded some things out there. There's this really weird episode where they find like a blocked off, literally a sealed off concrete room underneath one of the houses on the property. I mean, that's creepy and all. But if every time you find something happening, if every time your radiations are spiking, you got people with radiation burns, and I'm talking like they measured gamma radiation, which is, I mean, there's enough gamma radiation on this place to make a Hulk, for crying out loud, and they're wondering what's going on with all the headaches and what's going on with all the all the bad stuff. And it's like, my thing is, maybe there is some weird stuff going on. Maybe it is aliens. They really want to know that it's aliens. There's even one bit where they're like, all right, what if we're in a wormhole? This is like a lens to a wormhole, and what we're seeing is glimpses into what we think is a UFO in the sky is like really like a window, like a glimpse into another portal. There's even stories about people who, while looking at the buildings in the homesteads, will they'll see like a skyline that doesn't match up, almost like they're seeing into another world. Um, so if you haven't seen this show, just note that they very quickly mentioned that, oh yeah, by the way, when they were testing nuclear bombs, this place in Nevada, this place got a lot of the fallout. So you got radioactive fallout. You have a site with unknown background to it, and every time they start digging or start messing around underground, someone starts feeling woozy. So, my thing is, there might be aliens under there. I don't know. But I'll tell you what I do think is definitely under there regardless. And I'm pretty sure there is like at least some toxic waste under there. There's something nuclear. Maybe there was some underground testing going on that wasn't documented. It's not like the government would really, tell us everything, even though, they say stuff is unclassified. I just feel like we're going to see like 3 seasons of the show, and then every one of them is going to frickin' die um, of like, radiation poisoning, to be honest with you. Um, and it's really interesting too, because when you look into the first season, it ends with them talking about how they're actually being watched by the government. Early in the season, there is an episode, or about halfway through the season, there's this episode where there's this like helicopter flying overhead, unmarked, but it definitely has a camera mounted to it. They're clearly being watched. They know that they're being watched. And then in the season finale, it's like this big roundtable discussion where apparently the attorney general of the state that they're in, Utah, I think it was. I don't know. I started cleaning the house while I was watching it because it was just so weird. Um, so they're all talking about the whole ranch, the situation, and what's happening with it. And one of them finally brings up that they've been contacted by some intelligence agencies, and that they are definitely being watched. They're pretty sure that they just want to know what they know, and that they'll never admit that they spoke with each other, yada yada, that sort of thing. Um, super secret, shadowy government stuff, which I don't discount. I'm sure happens. I just don't. When you watch any reality TV, you wonder how much is staged, how much is accident, how much is real, how much is drama. And especially when it's stuff like this, and the Ghost Hunters. Like I said, I love ghosts, but it's hard for me to take a show seriously when you become so formula. You know, even if you really want me to believe it, when your show is so formula like Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, where they pretty much just talk shit to ghosts through the whole episode, and then you hear somebody banging on a window, and then all of a sudden, they're all running around scared. sounding like, girls at a, elementary playground that just had a lizard thrown on them. So when you get that kind of formula going, it's very difficult to take you seriously. I can't take you seriously. And this show kind of became very formula very quickly, even though it's only 8 episodes, and it was on History Channel. So of course, history, right? That's supposed to be credible, because they don't ever play anything on history that's not credible. No, no ancient aliens here. And don't get me wrong, I believe in extraterrestrial life. I really do. Um, And I do like the way the current owner of the ranch put in an interview is that, he's not a believer, he's an experiencer. So when people ask him if he believes now, he says, no, I don't believe, I have experienced. Um, I've had my own experiences with the paranormal, some of which I have actually spoken about on this same YouTube channel and in one of Vance's other videos. And if you haven't seen that, you should check it out. I think it's one of the Pizza Roll Diaries. Um, so anyway, I'm not discounting any of that stuff, but I just can't bring myself to believe that what these people are doing is the real deal. When you start every episode pretty much the same. All right, you got something weird going on. All right, let's go run our experiment. Uh-oh, the equipment's messing up, and now somebody's sick. I mean, it was interesting in the first episode. By episode 5, when they're sitting back around their table talking about we don't want people to get hurt now, we got to keep that in mind, it just kind of gets old. And I honestly hope that season 2 doesn't really do too much of that, and if it does, it's like go big with it if you're gonna do it. Let's see some real consequences for messing around on this ranch. Let's I mean, I also am a little curious about the government interference. Are they going to interfere? Are they just going to watch? Are they going to sit on the side and let these guys do all the work and then take all the credit? I mean, what's going to happen here? And again, I can just watch History Channel, but I don't have regular cable because who has time for that? I mean, just stream all your stuff. But I'm gonna watch it. I'm not really expecting a whole lot from it, and again, that's very, very disappointing to me because I'm a huge fan of that stuff, and they're touching on all the stuff that I'm a huge fan of. Skinwalkers, I mean, for crying out loud, are anyone who's into cryptids. They hear that, and it's like they know exactly what that is. They know exactly what that means. They know it's definitely not a good thing. And I'll tell you one of my favorite things about this whole show, though, is that really just kind of tells me that we're just dealing with some irradiated land. Talking about people getting hurt is all of a sudden you got, like, next to last episode, there's a cow that is just dead. And I mean, they were like, oh no, it was fine this morning, and now it's dead. And, predictably, they scan it with their equipment, and it has a pretty high count of some electromagnetic waves, so and definitely some radiation. And I'm just thinking, okay, I don't know if the nuclear testing actually had anything to do with it, or if there is just, for whatever reason, a lot of freaking radiation on this land. But these guys are not, I'm just convinced, these guys are not hunting cryptids. They think they are. They're absolutely certain that's what they're doing. They are looking for evidence of cryptids. They're looking for evidence of aliens. They think there's some kind of They think that something about this land is going to help them understand the universe, or at least understand the questions about the universe better. But in the end, all I see is a bunch of guys that are probably going to end up, with the worst forms of cancer that, uh, toxic radiation can buy. And we're just going to, read a news report about how the show got canceled because everyone's in the hospital and half of them can't even talk because, their throats are probably swole up with all the cancer from the radiation that they keep poking around. And that's another whole thing is earlier in the show, the scientist guy is like, I don't even remember his name. I think Travis, maybe? Um, he's like, my grandmother used to say that a hornet's nest isn't interesting until you poke it with a stick. And it's like, okay, but as one of the other characters ends up saying later, and I think it makes a great point, is, I don't think you were dealing with radioactive hornets, and I don't really want to deal with radioactive hornets. Which actually, the guy I'm talking about is the guy right over here that we're focused on right now. He's got a beard. He's like the one guy who's like, let's not dig, let's not do this, let's not do this. And honestly, he's kind of the voice of reason through most of it. The guy who had the freaking swelling up on his head, he's like the one of the biggest gung ho ones about it. Yeah, man, let's keep poking this bear. Let's keep throwing rocks at this hornet's nest. And he just, I don't know. So, case in point. So, too long, didn't read. Um, I'm just not sure I actually like the show. I kind of wish it was more of an actual documentary on um, Skinwalkers, not just this documentary about this place where there's supposedly a lot of activity. And if there's as much radiation out there as they keep talking about, there probably is a lot of activity. It's probably not good activity. It's probably a lot of it due to that radiation. And I don't know. I don't know how much. How many seasons can you make of that? Honestly speaking, let's be real here. How many seasons can you really make of that before people are just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. Um, so all I can say is for season 2, if they don't step it up and show us something, I, I'm just gonna lose interest and just be done with it. Let me finish this up real quick. I told you guys it was going to be quick. I don't know why, but this is what I wanted to rant about today. I mean, it's geeky, You guys, if y'all like, if you're into cryptids, that sort of stuff, drop a line in the comments or something. So, having said that, speaking of dropping a line in the comments, I'd pretty much just, go based on what I want to talk about for the last 5 episodes. Here we are at the end of episode 5, and really I don't even know that I wanted to talk about this. I really just watched this show today, binged the whole first season, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is terrible and could have been so great. I tell you what, if you're enjoying watching these videos, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a comment on the video and let me know what it is you would like me to talk about, and I'll take those suggestions. I'll see which ones I can actually make a full content video for. If I can't at least talk for 30 minutes about it, I'm probably not going to do it. I really stretched this one out just to give myself time to make this art here, which I hope you guys are enjoying immensely. But let me know, and I will see what you guys actually want to hear. And if I'm, knocking it out of the park and just giving you guys what you want, let me know that too. Heck, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. But pretty much said all I can say about this subject. So, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see y'all next time. All right.